You know, whether it's for the sake of speed or packing or even budget, I think it's safe to say in this industry, all of us at one point in time have found ourselves in a situation where we can only use one light. And between you and me, I like the challenge. So in this video, we are going to walk through an abundance of ways that we can use just one light on a film set. Some of them practical everyday uses, some of them a little bit more narrative, stylistic, a little bit of juice added in there. But before we get into it, my name's Brady. If you're new here, welcome. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're not new here, welcome back to the channel. And if you still haven't subscribed, well, fuck. The one light of choice that we're gonna be using in this whole video is an Aperture Storm 400X. We got it sitting right there. We're gonna be using a variety of different modifiers to shape it, get it exactly how we want, but the one light is going to remain constant, which is that 400X, which I found is a good middle ground point source. It's a chip on board light, so it allows you to modify a lot of different ways, and it's bicolor, so it allows a lot of variety that we're gonna see throughout this video. Go ahead and get into the first scene, which we are looking at right here and now. For reference, I'm shooting on the FX3 on this camera with a Blazer Apex lens. So the first technique, we'll call it, is probably going to be something that we do very, very often, but might be considered the most boring or least stylistic in this entire video, but it is something that we all need to use and all need to do, which is just a very subtle, soft side push. So we can see right here, we've got this light going here. If I were to turn it off, there's off, on, off, on, off. It's not doing a lot, but it's doing a lot. You know what I mean? All that this is here is that 400X through a light dome. So that's one way to do it. This is going to be something good for just subtle window push, or most often you're going to be using something like this for interview light. You see this little Rembrandt triangle that's right here? That's always going to look beautiful when you're doing your interview with a subject like this. It's going to be tried and true. You're going to do it a million times. It's probably the quickest and easiest way to beautify your light, whether it's for interviews, whether it's you just need a little bit more window push for your scene, narrative, commercial, whatever have you. But say you don't want to just transmit through this, through a softbox, and you want to bounce it, that's going to be another way that you can shape and soften up your light. So we're going to get rid of this and we're going to swap it out for a reflector dish. But instead of doing this, because that's going to look terrible, we're going to reverse this and bounce into something here. All this is a little Home Depot insulation that I've cut and gaff taped. So it's very simple, very cheap. And we're just going to put this on the C-stand using this Cine Jaws. If you guys don't know about this, it's a product I made in collaboration with Condor Blue, something that I use all the time. It is a lifesaver. So I put one of my Cine pins on it as well, stick it through here, and now you've got a little duckbill for your beadboard. There we go, easy as that. Cine Jaws are freaking amazing. You gotta get yourself one of them, I'm not gonna lie, it does everything. And now that's just another way that we can soften our light up. Again, off, on. I like bouncing light, it just feels a little bit softer and smoother. Like I said, this is gonna be a tried and true, something that you are doing all the time, but let's get on to the next way that we can use this light. So this next one is a really simple way to just add a little bit more life to your scene. We're starting to lean into some of the stylistic approach to this, and that's just shooting sun in from the outside, especially on an overcast day. Just adding in some sort of life via sun coming in from the outside will immediately add so much value to your scene. I like 4,400 Kelvin for my outdoor sunlight, and I'm just gonna boost this up just above the window pane. That'll add so much to the world. Let's go in and see how that looks. If I compare with it off and on, one, yes, we're losing skylight behind us, but that's a great way to do it. And then also, if you really want to add even more life to it, you can introduce haze to it, and that's going to give a little bit of atmosphere. So I've just got this smoke genie here. Neighbors are going to think we're fucking stoners. And with arguably too much haze, it adds a lot of atmosphere, just like there's sun coming through something, that vintage look, that nice Hollywood feel. You know, it'll start to give some shafts to your light as well as they come through. So doing this is just such an easy way to add. Again, if I were to kill it, there's off, there's on. It does so much to your world. This next one is a little bit more niche, creative, if you will. Something you can't use in every scenario, but something that you can interpret to use creatively in your own ways. And that's like a light at the end of the tunnel kind of vibe. What I mean by that is to use one light to act as motivation to get your character to move. That not necessarily like, whoa, look at the light, but just something that your eyes go to the bright part of the image. So let's put one light at the end of the tunnel where this character is walking into. So here's the framing right here. We're looking down this long hallway, and at the end of it, there's this really cool painting that is kind of like mysterious and cool. So we're gonna lean into that. So as we know, we're only working with one light, so we need to use the world to our advantage. And what I see out here is there's these practical, just household lights that are out on the wall right here. And you can see what it's doing on this wall. And I'm like, oh, I like the quality of it. I like the shadow, but if we're going for this night spooky vibe, the warm qualities aren't gonna work. So what we're gonna do is use these to our advantage and cool them off and bring them all the way down to, this camera goes down to 2500 Kelvin. So now these practicals are rendering almost like a very, very dim moonlight, and that's going to be the foundation that we build off for when we add our one light. As you know, we're using the 400X, which you would think is a bicolor light, but fun fact about this is the people are lying. Looks like red to me. So what we're going to do is lean into this spooky night whatever vibe, and red is a very deep color, so we're going to have the light at the end of the hallway be a deep red. So what you do is when you get in here, you go to your light mode and you go to this HSI, and then you can just go through and change your hue just like it's a normal RGB light. So it's kind of like a cheat code. It uses all of the color chips that create the Blair white light independently to give you this colors. And that is going to be the only light at the end of the tunnel. So this one might be my favorite of them all, and that's just speaking with shadows. There's no talent, nobody in the shot, and it's just telling the story with shadows of what would be morning sunlight. So I've got the 400X that's just over there, motivated by sun that's coming through in the morning, raking through, creating shadows through the railings, onto the walls. And instead of showing me with the dog, I just captured the shadows of us playing around in the morning. And to me, that is such a fun way to tell the story and switch things up. Stairs are right over there. This wall is blocking it. If I were to put the stand right there, we just don't have a good angle. So I'm just gonna ever so subtly poke this out over the banister. And I'm just gonna use my Avenger arm to do so. Feels about good. Striking. Bam, let there be light. And that wall is taking a lot of it, so I'm gonna use the barn door and just feather that just about right there. Oh yeah, that's gonna be the shadow shot. Just don't fall down the stairs. And the most important thing about getting shadows like this with your lighting is your light needs to be far away, guys. I see all the time, I did it in the beginning, people stick their light right here just to get it there, and all of these shadows are so soft, and it just doesn't have that crispness that we would get like here. So stick your light as far as you can away. It's like 30 feet away or so right now, just to really crisp up all of these shadows that are on the wall. The next one is something that we're all gonna be faced with at some point in our career, either small budget or very large budget, and that's these kitchen table style scenes, whether it's one person playing chess with themselves or if it's two people having a dialogue. This is something that's gonna be very important to know how to do, and we're gonna do it with one light in a couple of different ways here. Now this first one, you can see we've got this hot light here and I'm filled in very beautifully, and when we turn it off and boost up the ISO just to get the natural world, it doesn't look nearly as good. So this is something that I do a lot, especially if you have characters with like a brimmed hat or anything like that, or something that's gonna create a shadow if light is from above, is take the light. So I've got the 400X with a Fresnel, and you can see this hot spot that is filling the table here. And what that is doing is really treating the table as an in-frame bounce. The light's hitting this. I love the tones coming off of this wood, and it's just returning very beautifully as a natural motivated under light. And it's a great, easy way to bring up the level on your characters. And especially in my earlier days as a DP, I thought that I could never use house lights at all. For this, I actually kept the house lights on because when they're off, I just fall into black. And it actually motivates us to have light coming from above, like on this table, when you can see practicals that are above us in frame. So this is the setup. That's all it is the 400X right there with the Fresnel, and I've got the barn doors flagged in so I can actually adjust where it's falling on the table. So if you look at the table right now, you can actually adjust and flag off where that hot spot falls on the table. But there's often times where you're not actually gonna want this harsh light on the table and you want a little bit more soft ambient overhead. So let's do that real quick. Let's switch things up. Same scene, different lights. So a very easy and common way to get soft light overhead of a table scene like this is having a light in a softbox or a lantern and booming it out overhead. And yes, it works, but to me, I'm always trying to avoid having a heavy light way out on a boom arm, especially when it's above talent's head. So we're gonna do this a little different here, and we're actually gonna bounce light into a soft source overhead to keep the weight on this guy to a minimum. We're gonna use the Cine Jaws. And then we're gonna throw our beadboard in here. To me, that is a heck of a lot lighter than a light up there. Look, that's not going anywhere. I ran into an issue. I only brought one light, so I only brought one stand. Did you say you needed a cine jaw? Oh yeah, that's not going anywhere. So now, all we gotta do is strike this, striking. Jesus Christ. Ooh, this might be very nice. I might be pleasantly surprised with this, guys. Wait a second, this is nice. I mean, yes, you see the whole brim hat situation I was talking about in the last scene. So if I just flip that, and now we've got this, it's a little hot coming off of here. Maybe I'll tweak that. There we go. Oh, see, that's amazing. Guys, I like this. I don't know which one is better. Let me know which one you think is better. So this right here might be the one stand dinner table setup from now on. Cine Jaws, 400X, off the boom arm with the Cine Jaw holding the bead board. And it's all on this one setup. That might be the move. Oh, fuck. So this one's just a little bit more of like a fun, contrasty, dramatic scene. There's not really any motivation to it, but it's just sitting here by what could be a fire, or what could be some sort of dim illumination, whatever have you. And all it is, what are you chewing on? And all that it is here is the 400X with a Fresnel just on the ground. I've just got it popped up right there, and I just shine this straight on me. And all it is the HSI mode again, with it somewhere around like an orange, probably like 35 degrees, just to get a little bit of warmth to it. And I just slap this right on the ground. Without it, it makes a huge difference. It lights up this whole fireplace. It's very minimal, very simple, but honestly, a really cool looking scene. So this is definitely a horror film type vibe with the light slashing, whether it's a thriller, whether it's horror. But it's very unique, again, this one more stylistic, but very fun of like creeping around the corner, looking to see who's there, and just getting this sliver of light. You see it very often, and that's just something I wanted to recreate. We could do that with one light. So let's break this down. Here's the framing that I chose for this next shot. There's no lighting in place, but I'm using practicals to my advantage once again. So those are those same warm ones. I brought the camera down to 2500 Kelvin just to blue those up. If I were to have it at normal, they'd be warm, and that's just not the look that I'm going for this. I want a kind of a cool, dimmer night vibe. So I'm just using those to my advantage. And then I want to bring in something, some sort of element of me like looking around, something to motivate a little bit more of this sliver of light that's going to hit my eyeball here. To get those slashes, we need a spotlight mount. So we got the aperture spotlight, and we're just throwing this on. This is a real testament of these Cine Jaws, guys. I'm just gonna invert it there. So to get that slash that we're looking for, I've got the spotlight mount, and that allows me to just adjust. I'm just gonna ballpark it with these blades till I get into frame. Somewhere in here to where there's a really narrow strip. That's all I'm looking for, is just a very narrow strip on my eye. Oh yeah, that's kind of the look that we're going. So some of these are very practical, use everyday looks. Some of these are very unique, use more narrative stylistically. But it goes to show how such a little package can go a long way. All I was using was just a Sony a7C little mirrorless camera and a Blazer Apex autofocus lens. And so with that being said, guys, make sure to be friends with the subscribe button. If you like this video, share it with a friend, your grandmother, your friend's grandmother, your grandmother's friend. I don't care if you guys do replicate this or do anything in your own way interpreted by this. Please post me, tag me, I always love to see it. But that is all, my friends. See you in the next video. Adios.